So very briefly, I've seen your video on the GTR.
Yeah.
Very excited, by the way. Now, I've actually got something big, powerful, and German that fits in your criteria.
I love being able to sit back. Whoa! See what I mean? Take 3. The loudest Mitsubishi Shogun ever. I mean, I tripped getting into the car on the first take, fluffed my words on the second take. I will succeed on take 3, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a 2015 991.1 Porsche 911 Turbo S. I don't think that is the right order that you're supposed to say all of the words and numbers with the Porsche brand's cars. Anyway, I've got a Turbo S right here, and I was driving over to Saxton 4x4 thinking about all of the ways that I can start this video because I've never driven a 991 Turbo S before. In January 2021, I set a challenge to myself for the channel to find the best sub £100,000 performance car using my Nissan GTR as the benchmark. The amount of comments that I got from that video and throughout this year up until this point that have suggested that I drive this car have been through the roof. So here we are, £100,000 Porsche 911 Turbo S. The 992 Turbo S is getting all of the attention at the moment, where actually you can get this car for a fraction of the price of what they are retailing at on Auto Trader in the used car market, which we will get onto in this video. I just don't see why you would go 992 Turbo S if you can get such a good package in this car, but we're going to find out. I haven't got that much battery left on my GoPro because I've been running it for the last 3 takes trying to get it right, but we will get started. We will get started. There we go. Get the aircon on because it is muggy as hell outside. I'm sweating. Ooh, yeah. I don't think we need aircon on full blast. I'm starting to cool down a little bit, but I'm sure my heart rate will rise as we hit some of the country lanes, or the country lanes that we're able to exert a little bit more of the performance out of this car. But my initial impressions, firstly, it's incredibly nimble. It's much, or it feels much smaller than the 992. The 992 is a chunky, fat 911. This feels nimble, it feels small, it feels built for these country lanes. And the power, the delivery of power, even though the figures and numbers are quite similar to the GTR, this gearbox and the 4-wheel drive system and the way that it delivers it is frighteningly quick. And you get up to speed without really noticing it. I think the gearbox plays a massive part in that because it is quite clunky in the Nissan GTR. Whereas this is epic and you're sitting over the front wheels. In comparison to the GTR, you're sat quite far back and you're in a GT car. This feels more like you're in a go-kart ready to race. And I think that gives you a different mental position to just drive fast all of the time, whereas in the GTR it's comfort suspension. I'm off for a cruise, and if I want to squirt the throttle and get a little bit of power for performance and overtaking on a motorway, then I'll squirt the throttle. Whereas this, being right over the front wheel arch, you're instantly feeling like you're ready to go. Oh, the brakes are good as well. Oh, the ceramic brakes. Jesus Christ. It has got endless grip. I'm trying to work out how wide this car is, but the GoPro stuck about that far further out, so I feel like I've got the width now of a 992 with the GoPro being a little bit further out. But what excites me about the 991 Turbo S as opposed to the 992, the all singing, all dancing, new technology, newest baby from Porsche, is that this car is 100 grand. When it came out, it was 140 grand. So this car over 6 years has only lost 30% of its value. Most McLarens and Aston Martins and Bentleys lose 30% in the first day when you collect the car. So the fact that this is still £100,000 is a testament to the Porsche brand and the success of the 991 Turbo S and the demand that there is still for this car because of the performance it gives, because of its build quality, because of its reliability, and because of its practicality and notoriety of being the ultimate daily supercar. It goes up against the R8 V10 Plus. To me, that's probably the other car that it sits alongside when you're thinking about daily supercar. But does the R8 do this as well as this and as smooth as this? I'm not entirely too sure. One thing that this car is missing is the sound, which the R8 does very, very well. So here's where I get the most excited about the 991 Turbo S, is you can go and spend 185 grand and get a 992 Turbo S. You can get a cabriolet from Saxton 4x4. They've got one in the showroom. This is 100 grand. There's an 85 grand price difference between the two Turbo S's. And if you want to go into a Porsche dealership and spec a new Turbo S, because let's face it, the 185 grand Turbo S cabriolet and most of the Turbo S's that are on Auto Trader are trading over list. So you walk into a Porsche dealership and say, hey, I'll just wait. Well, wait until the end of 2022, the beginning of 2023 to get a 992 Turbo S. That's how long the wait is for one of those cars. So at 100 grand, therefore, this starts to become an incredibly attractive price point and also a package. In comparison to 185 grand, you've got a car that can do 85-90% of the stuff that the 992 can for almost half the price. And yeah, okay, the interior has got a lot of buttons, it's slightly dated, but still, it's 85 grand cheaper than a new Turbo S. And then you look at what else can you buy for 100 grand? Would you go and buy an R8 would I go and buy an R8 V10 Plus over one of these? I wouldn't buy this spec, even though it's solid. I would have to have it all black like Seb's, but I think I would have one of these, which I wasn't expecting to go for at the beginning of this video. At the beginning of the day when I woke up, I just assumed that I would prefer an R8 V10 Plus, but there's something quite cool about this car. And then you look at a £96,000 Aston Martin Vantage, again in the Saxton showroom. Would I have a Turbo S over one of them? Probably would. This gearbox, this size, this four-wheel drive system with 550 brake horsepower, it's worth the additional money over a Nissan GTR. And yeah, I think it is probably the best car that I've driven sub £100,000. All things considered, it's probably the most well-rounded package I think, yeah, I've driven in a long time. Is it fun? Yes. For those that say it's not fun, it is fun. It lacks a little bit of soul, it lacks a little bit of character. That comes down to the smoothness of the gearbox and the efficiency that the Germans have developed and created to build the ultimate performance daily supercar. I was walking into today knowing that there are so many people out there that say this is the daddy. The Turbo S, it's just the daddy. And Tony says it about the 992. He says it's a phenomenal car. And it is. But when you look at the price of that, or the waiting list for that, or you can have this tomorrow for 100 grand, it's this all day long. You can put up with the lack of screens. You've got Burmester. You're not even looking at the screens half the time anyway, because you're terrified about how fast everything in front of you is coming at you. Oh, there's a Brasco grey E-Pace. Hope that's not my girlfriend, because what will she be doing in Essex? Oh, yeah, this is a very good car. A very good car, and one that I have thoroughly enjoyed driving. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I have. It's been a surprise. I was coming into this knowing that it lacks a little bit of character, it lacks a little bit of personality, and halfway through the drive, I kind of understood it. But actually now, it's so fun to bash through the gears. and it is so fast. It's so fast everywhere, just not in a straight line. It's around the corners, it's out of the corners, it's coming into the corners, it's fast at braking. It's faster than most cars, 250 grand at braking. It is, oh, I'm kind of falling in love with this a little bit. Oh, it's got auto stop start. Take that off. That was a damper on the rest of the video. Anyway, I need to head back to Saxon's now because I've got 41 miles of fuel, so I won't be able to drive it how I've been driving it for too much longer. So let's give it one more. It is silly fast. I'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Head into the link in the description. Check the spec out on this because it's a big spec. It's a good spec. I'll see you soon. Oh, AMG GTR of this. Maybe the AMG creeps it.